Mexico is a multi-party federal republic with an elected president and bicameral legislature. Andrés Manuel López Obrador of the Morena Party won the presidential election in generally free and fair multi-party elections in 2018. In the June 2021 midterm elections, citizens voted for all members of the Chamber of Deputies, 15 governors, state legislators, and mayors across the country. The elections were generally free and fair. The National Guard and state and municipal police are responsible for enforcing the law and maintaining order. The National Guard, which began operations in 2019, is a largely military institution reporting to the Secretariat of National Defense. In 2019 the government disbanded the federal police, and in 2020 all remaining assets and personnel transferred to the National Guard. A 2022 constitutional amendment grants the president the authority to continue to use the armed forces for internal security through 2028. Personnel seconded from the military form the majority of the National Guard. The National Guard was formally transferred to the Secretariat of National Defense on September 16, effectively making it a branch of the military. The Secretariat of National Defense and Secretariat of the Navy also play a role in domestic security, particularly in combating criminal groups. The National Migration Institute, under the authority of the Interior Secretariat, is responsible for enforcing migration law. Although authorities generally maintained effective control over the security forces, there were instances in which security force elements acted independently of civilian control. There were reports that members of security forces committed some abuses. Significant human rights issues included credible reports of unlawful or arbitrary killings by police, military, and other governmental officials, forced disappearance by government agents, torture or cruel, inhuman, degrading treatment or punishment by security forces, harsh and life-threatening prison conditions, arbitrary arrest or detention, restrictions on free expression and media, including violence against journalists, serious acts of government corruption, insufficient investigation of and accountability for gender-based violence, including domestic or intimate partner violence, crimes involving violence or threats of violence targeting lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, or intersex persons, and crimes involving violence or threats of violence targeting persons with disabilities. Impunity and extremely low rates of prosecution remained a problem for all crimes, including human rights abuses and corruption. There were reports some government agents were complicit with international criminal gangs, and prosecution and conviction rates were low for these abuses. Criminal elements, including local and transnational gangs and narcotics traffickers, were significant perpetrators of violent crimes and committed acts of homicide, torture, kidnapping, extortion, human trafficking, bribery, intimidation, and other threats, resulting in high levels of violence and exploitation. The government investigated and prosecuted some of these crimes, but the majority remained uninvestigated and unprosecuted.